Hey and welcome, I'm Hammeh, and guess what? I think that as well as Roll Queue and Roll Lock just being announced right now, and I'll very quickly sum that up at the end of this video for you, go check out the developer update and similar for more details, we might have Hero 31, and he, as revealed in the previous developer update by Jeff, may well be Sigma. So how have we got to Sigma? Let me do you a quick run through of the Sigma-esque journey. So as part of the announcements of Roll Queue and Roll Lock, Overwatch World Cup Team Mexico tweeted this. Now apparently, and I need to double check that these images are lifted straight from the Overwatch Mexico blog. Now, a couple of these have 10 parts on them, as you can see. Now, Roll Queue is great, Roll Lock is great. I think that broadly speaking, it's going to be great and something that Overwatch needs to give a go, and we need to try and give a go and see how it goes. It's the biggest thing since the change to a hero limit from when you could stack multiple of the same hero on a team. But more on that later. In these images, you can see various bits of 10 parts. Here are some 10 parts, and this patch is actually on the PTR for PC now, so I'll go and check it out after this. You will, of course, place as tank damage or support. It's now 5 placement games, as revealed in the dev update, rather than 10, and if you do placements 5 per role and get in a rank, you may end up getting actually more competitive points towards your weapons than you did with just the 1 SR at the moment for all 3, but more on that later. In the midst of these 10 parts shared and retweeted, by the way, the Overwatch World Cup Mexico Committee account has been retweeted by the Overwatch Mexico account, and it has since then also done a little retweet of someone asking them, Overwatch Mexico, who is Sigma? Reason for this, have a look at this piece of art, this 10 part of what somebody's profile screen might look like if indeed they were having 3 different kinds of SR, tank SR, support SR, damage SR. Look at that person at the top there. Look a bit unfamiliar to you, unfamiliar to me. That's who Sigma is. Here is, without any time or expense, my high-tech, I zoomed in Photoshop and blew it up a bit, rendition for you. The art style to me looks very, very similar. The Overwatch Mexico account is engaging with tweets to them around this matter. I think this is our Hero 31 reveal, effectively. Whoever Sigma may be, whomever they may be. They look, they've got a bit of a grimace there. An interesting kind of is it an augmentation? Is it something sombresque on top of their head? So many questions. Something perhaps on their temple there, just above their ear. I wonder what that is as well. Who knows? Could this be the Talon Tank? That, if anyone's talking about Sigma and getting excited, that's where all of this has come from. Overwatch World Cup Mexico Committee then engaged with, retweeted by the Overwatch Mexico account. Images, I need to double check on this, purportedly live on an Overwatch Mexico blog post, which I'm just going to click and have a look at now. And are they there? Are they there? These specific ones are not. Interesting, very interesting. But the Overwatch Mexico account is engaging with tweets around this. So who knows? Either, is it made up? Is it made up by the Overwatch World Cup Team Mexico Committee? Would they do something like that? I don't know. Or because of the Overwatch Mexico official account engaging with this, is this Hero 31? Sigma looks a bit evil to me, at the risk of stereotyping them based on the little grimace around their face and things. Or maybe not evil, but certainly I wouldn't be surprised if they were Talon, put it that way. Could they be a Talon Tank? And here's my final bit of headcanon. Is that kind of like a mask or something that they're wearing on the top of their head there that they pull down over their face? I can't wait to find out. Now, Sigma speculation aside, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do let me know. True, false, think that's good or not. You can see it all on the Overwatch subreddit. Let's have a little look, just a very, very quick look. I'd like to talk about Roll Queue with you. Now, this is huge for Overwatch. I know there are concerns about this. This is the biggest change in just the way that we play the game, let alone competitive, and it is coming to the Overwatch League as well. There's a 50-minute dev update over on the Overwatch YouTube channel. Go check that out. As some very, very highlights for you, you will have 3 effectively separate SRs now. Tank damage and support. You will do 5 placement matches for each. You don't have to place in all 3. You can place in 1, 2, all of them, none. Do the same thing that you wanted to do. When you queue for one of these, you will then go into a game where you can only be a tank. You can switch around any tank hero within that match, but you won't be able to switch to the other roles. When the game's complete, you'll go back to the menu and you can re-choose your role before your next game. Place in all 3, you might get more competitive points, the way that Jeff put it in the dev update, than you would if you just placed once in your current system. So there is incentive to do all 3. What about queue times? Damage dealers say, oh, well, everyone's going to play damage, maybe. Am I going to have to queue longer than everyone else? There will be incentives, as you can see in this image. Earn a loot box if you are perhaps, fancying jumping in on something. If a queue is underrepresented, you might get the chance for some kind of bonus, some kind of reward. This is a system that Blizzard actually have right now in World of Warcraft and have had for many years. I played World of Warcraft for on and off for about 15 years. This is quite common in their group finder system in World of Warcraft. If the tank role, if the healer role is underrepresented, and those tend to be the ones that are most often underrepresented, people get very quick queues. They get additional rewards for playing games as those roles. So there you have it. There's also a whole raft of updates that I'm not going to cover here. Big changes to Brigitte because she now needs to be more of a healer. If you're locked into only having 2 supports, 2 tanks and 2 damage dealers, it's going to be 2-2-2, and that is the role lock composition for this role queue format. As well as a change, Sombra's hack getting a little bit less powerful. Reinhardt getting a passive that makes him, I think, less susceptible to knockbacks and all of this kind of stuff, crowd control as it were. So lots of good and interesting things happening. It's going to be feeling like a whole new game almost in some ways with the raft of hero changes on offer, so do have a look at those too. So what do you think of all that? What do you think of our friend Sigma? True, false, real, not real? A clever fake, or is that just what Hero 31 is going to look like straight up? By the way, there is also a clip that you can have a look at of Seagull and Jeff. Seagull is at Overwatch HQ streaming as the time that this video goes out, talking about role lock and role queue. And Seagull, finishing up, said, the chat are all asking about Sigma, and Jeff effectively said, I know nothing about that, but I know everything about that. There are lots of interesting things happening this summer, and he kind of said no more. So he didn't say absolutely no idea. He looked slightly surprised by it. I think this is real. What do you think of Sigma? Whom do you think they might be? What is their story? Are they going to be their Talon Tank? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Although my Patreon has been rather quiet for the last 5 months, I've had it on pause while I've been releasing these videos. I'm getting things going again. So thanks to my patrons on Patreon who support me as always. Check out all of my Overwatch lore, interaction, voice line videos and more. Stay tuned during the next week and a half or so for new Overwatch videos that I'm going to be trying, as well as some more pilots of lore and story from Blizzard games and other games I love and worlds I love outside of gaming. It's going to be pilot week. Do bear with it. Check it all out. I'd love to hear your thoughts about potentially new content, be it here or elsewhere. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.